Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special week of Downtime Podcast called Summer of Alyssa. So here we go. Jeremy is on vacation right now, and I'm trying to make some episodes happen. And at this point, what that would mean is I'd have a different co-host. Well, what's been going on these past few weeks is I've been working a lot of overtime, so I haven't been able to get a convenient time to even record or do anything. So when I knew that Jeremy was going on vacation, I had this idea of, you know what? I'm going to do the episodes by myself and I'm going to record at work because it's the only convenient time that I can make this happen. So this is the deal. Monday through Friday, 5 episodes, a whole week of Alyssa. We're going to cover everything from video games to TV shows to just random everything on my mind right now. They're going to be quick episodes. And you're going to get one per day. So welcome to Monday's episode, which is 106. And here we go. Downtime Podcast. Summer of Alyssa. On June 21st, a game that I've been waiting a long time for, it's been a childhood favorite of mine, came back with a resurgence, with a reboot, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. And for anyone who is unfamiliar with this series, if you never really played PlayStation before, so Crash Bandicoot is the story of a badass dingo. I think it's a dingo or a dog of some sort. And it's a famous platformer in the early days of PlayStation. It was actually one of the very first games that Naughty Dog created. Like this is a Naughty Dog property. Though the Crash Team Racing I think is done a lot with Activision, but like the original game was Naughty Dog. And of this series, of this platformer, came two kart racers. The first one being Crash Team Racing CTR, which came out on PS1, and Crash Nitro Kart CNK, which came out of PS2. And so they didn't have one for PS3. Well, Crash, that series kind of, fell off a bit because, new games were being created, and then they were working on Uncharted and The Last of Us. And then PS4, we're seeing a sudden resurgence in Crash Bandicoot. And the Insane Trilogy came out. And this year is now Nitro Fueled, the next game for Crash Bandicoot. And I must say, if I ever everything that I wish and would have ever wanted in a Crash Team Racing reboot, this is all in there. So this game had, the style is almost like a smoothed out version of the original CTR game, where the menus are the same format, and adventure mode is the same. So adventure mode is single player, and then you have battle mode where you can get you and your friends in an arena and you can battle each other. It was like one of my favorite parts of CTR way back. And of course, there's online mode. I'm not going to talk about online mode because I haven't played it yet, and I'm much more interested in the adventure mode here. So I'll talk about that. So pretty much adventure mode is there's a new alien deity. His name's Nitrous Oxide, and he's the best racer on the planet, and he's going to attack the planet that you live on unless someone beats him. So you, the player, have to get first place in all of the races and defeat Nitrous Oxide. So adventure mode pretty much hit all the nostalgia feels. And I'm a person who doesn't like nostalgia that much, but I gotta admit, my heart, CTR and CNK were the games that me and my cousins played when I was growing up. Like every Christmas we would play this game, and this whole franchise has a very special place in my heart. And I think that the reboot, I think the reboot does a great job wrangling in all the old fans and getting new fans, but they upped the difficulty and they changed a little bit of things. So as an old fan, you're not just like, oh, like this is the same exact game. In adventure mode, I actually think it's pretty hard. I think medium mode is surprisingly a lot harder than I was expecting. It's like everyone is nitro fueled, haha, and they're just all the players, all the NPCs keep attacking you. It's actually taking a few tries for me to finish all of these beginner tracks, such as like Skull Caves and Bruise Tubes, and I'm stuck on Mystery Cave right now. Like, I've played it 5 times and I come in on 3rd or 2nd consistently. So I like this is a pretty hard game. If you've never played this game before, I would definitely go into easy mode. So I dabbled in Mario Kart a few times, and what I would say is, if you have Mario Kart, and Mario Kart is is like your innocent, like, little sister or whatever, and it's like so wholesome and all of these different things, then you got CTR, and CTR is like the badass, like, big sister who doesn't give a shit, like, stays out of curfew, and like, you in the middle are just like trying to you as the middle child are trying to just figure both of these things out. So it's like, I find it very difficult as someone, and I consider myself a seasoned player of this game. And I definitely think that in adventure mode, you should definitely practice going around the random ass tracks and really make an effort to figure out Turbo Boost. And Turbo Boost is just like, power slide in this game. But I wouldn't even continue tackling medium if you haven't mastered the Turbo Boost. So this is a lot harder than previous Crash Team games, but I think it's well worth it when you finish. Like, I feel so much satisfaction, not just as a person who's played this game before, but man, like, they're really attacking you. These NPCs are like, they don't give a shit. So, customization for your character is pretty cool. So what I noticed in adventure mode is you can change your change your cart. There's a lot of unlockables. You can change the skin of your characters, and that's really cool. So I definitely want to unlock a lot of different things, and I haven't figured out the unlocking for all of the characters yet. Like, I don't know if things are just automatically unlocked as you go on, or you have to play with that character and unlock. I'm more learning as I go with this, so we're gonna have fun with it for the next few weeks. So with the characters, so you have Dr. Vortex and Crash, and I would say though those are the equivalents of Mario and Luigi. They're the neutral characters. Like, they're the pretty much like everything's very even. And I'm not gonna lie, I play with Crash. So there you have it. And then you have characters like Tiny Tiger, and then, Dingo Dot. You have Pura. You have all of the original characters on here and more that you're going to eventually unlock, which is really exciting because it's like they didn't skimp on this, they didn't skimp on this reboot. I feel like they covered all the bases, and even in the customization, like, there's an option where you can choose the PS1 skin of your character in all its minimal polygon glory. And I think that's really cool. They have all your staple tracks. Like, I played with Skull Cave. Skull Cave is the very first track that you play, and then Mystery Cave, which I'm stuck on, is like very, like, everyone knows what Mystery Cave is. But then, like, you also have Vortex Castle, and you have Polar Pass, which, oh my god, when I finally play Vortex Castle, I'm like, that was my favorite track of all time. So I'm like more than excited with this game. I think that, like, if you've never played the Crash Team Racing Kart series, you might as well hop into this because they pretty much combine CTR and CNK. Like, you just don't even go back anymore. Like, there's no point. They upgraded the graphics. Everything's really smooth. Like, the gameplay is very fast paced, as I explained. But, like, definitely play with easy if you're not used to everything yet. And I guess my only complaint would be sometimes I feel like the wait screen is a little bit slow, and like sometimes you're waiting for a minute. So I wish that was a little bit faster, or even if it wasn't faster, I wish that the loading screen was a little bit more dynamic. Otherwise, this is a very solid game. Like, I have nothing but praises about this. If you're interested in getting this game, I would buy it on launch. I think it's worth the $40. Coming out on June 25th is the new Ryoga Kotoku game, Judgment. The Judgment game is about a disgraced lawyer of some sort, and Jeremy and I have been talking about it for quite some time, as this is the new game from the studio of Yakuza, and they're putting a lot of focus on advertising this versus the upcoming Yakuza 3, as well as, like, there's just been a lot of buzz on it because of the whole controversy with one of its voice actors. It's finally coming out, and thank goodness that it was not delayed like we had originally discussed. It comes out on Tuesday, but if you're like me and you pre-ordered the game, it actually will come out tomorrow. Well, at this point, if you're listening to the podcast on Monday, then if you pre-ordered digitally, then you already have it. So I'm not going to talk. So obviously I have nothing to talk about, but also it would not be kosher of me to talk about Judgment without Jeremy. So definitely waiting for the both of us when he comes back from vacation to put maybe 10 hours or so into the game before we talk about it. So stay tuned for that. E3 happened a week and a half ago, and we covered the press conferences, but I wanted to quickly cover what was on the show floor and what was at the convention itself for people attending. Plot twist, there really wasn't much to show. Companies like Nintendo, they featured, Luigi's Mansion 3, you could play that, and then they also had some fun stuff, I'm pretty sure Nintendo had a rock climbing wall, and I thought that was pretty interesting, and, I don't know exactly if it was an Epic Games booth, but they had some interesting looking Wipeout Takeshi Castle games that you could play and interact with. But I saw a few videos, and it was definitely obvious that Sony wasn't there, considering that they take a lot of real estate in the Los Angeles Convention Center itself. In that spot, there was just a lot of open space and couches, which is cool because I guess sitting is fun, but clearly no one really booked that spot, or, no one tried to say, hey, let's use that spot with a different company. Are we moving away from this convention style of press conference? If video game companies... there's two ways of looking at it. So some video game companies, they're moving towards a live streaming direct, like Nintendo. They're just gonna announce it in an article. They're gonna announce it live on their YouTube channel or their official website, and then that's that. And when you're doing that, there's not much, or is there really still stake in having a convention? At the same time, you gotta also look at it from this perspective, where we're in a weird year where the next console is going to come out in 2 years, and we're on the downwind. So some of these companies really, like PlayStation, they may have just not had anything to show at all, and maybe Microsoft just wasn't ready to show a lot of stuff. So I gotta give respect to some companies. They just straight up didn't have anything to show, and if you don't have anything to show, then don't make a big deal out of it, like Marvel's Avengers. That being said, the landscape of this style of press conference and announcing, is E3 going to lose its footing, especially with the way that the show floor was? I'm gonna actually answer that by saying we don't know yet until the next console generation comes around, because when that next generation comes, I think that will really determine what the new PR marketing strategy for these companies are. Like we said, at the end of the day, E3 is just a conference that fans can attend now. So it's okay if we just leave it at that, in my opinion, at least. I want to talk about Psychonauts 2 just because we didn't talk about it in previous podcasts. So by Double Fine, and they did show some gameplay during E3 that we didn't talk about on the previous podcast. Just a very, very interesting new adventure for Raz. As rumored, Raz has a kid of some sort, but it wasn't featured in this new trailer. They showed gameplay of the world, and they showed gameplay of a boss, and I just gotta say that world has a lot of teeth. And when I say a lot of teeth, I mean like straight up molars and all of that. So it leads to curiosity of what that game's gonna be. But I played the first Psychonauts and I really liked it, so I'm excited for this one. Next, I want to talk about Dr. Mario World, which was announced, and it's going to be like a mobile game. And I was looking at footage, and it's a very, very typical mobile game. It's a mobile game where you have diamonds that you can use for in-game purchases and microtransactions to help advance. It's like similar to Tetris. Like it's a puzzle game, and like it's basically exactly what you expect. Like if you play Bejeweled and anything like that, except it's Nintendo branded. So in Dr. Mario World, there's a bunch of viruses on your puzzle map, and to eliminate the virus, you have to drag and drop a bunch of colored capsules to the correct color. So if you see a green virus, then you drag the green side of a capsule to it, and then it'll eliminate it. So that'll be a game for people to download on mobile, and there's not much to talk about because it's like a pretty basic game. And then lastly, what I want to talk about is PlayStation Plus for July and Game Pass for July. So for PlayStation Plus, July you have Watch Dogs 2, Celeste, Nioh, and Hollow Knight. And Hollow Knight hasn't been a game that I've seen a lot of clips before, but I've never played it yet. I think I would be most interested in checking that one out in July. And then Game Pass for July. And a lot of these games, like for Xbox, they're coming out a few days before July 1st. So Resident Evil Revelations, Rare Replay, Torment Tides of Numenera, and Goat Simulator. And I got nothing to say. I just love simulators. So those are your games for the upcoming month. And we're going to end there. This is a quick hit episode, like I said. This is one of 5 episodes this week, so there's going to be another episode tomorrow. What's the topic going to be about? It's going to be a side quest episode, and it's going to be about Black Mirror. So stay tuned for that. If you want to make a comment on this podcast, you can go to anywhere where we have the podcasts, such as like Podbean, Stitcher, etc. You can post a comment, and we can read it on the podcast. You can go on YouTube. You can go to our website at www.Downtime.Live. There's a Discord you can join, as well as you can post a comment on the website. And if you want to do email, you can go to contact@Downtime.Live. Thank you for listening to The Summer of Alyssa. 5 episodes this whole week while Jeremy's on vacation.